Hello, hello. First things first, I'm going to go over some mistakes. We really only made them at the beginning of the dungeon, so it wasn't too bad. Then I'll go boss by boss and explain what I'm doing. Okay, at this point, we all know that Belle is out of stealth, so we should have all ran to the back and either let Belle die or use Shadow Meld. Another thing that I could have done in that situation is let everyone die so I could mass res. So either everyone should have went to the back besides Belle, or I should have stayed in the back and mass resed everyone. Either way, we could have saved a lot of time. Another mistake happens here. As you can see, the dog ran in. Really, the only way we can prevent this is to try not to tab target when we're in small clusters of groups like this, because they tend to sometimes go to a group we're not fighting. Alright, time for the bosses. I don't know how I'm going to do these yet. I'm probably just going to show the entire fight and then explain what I'm doing. So we start off and I just lusted right away. It's best to use them at the beginning of the fight unless it's a very specific fight where we need it for a burn. So I'm avoiding all of the swirlies that I can. The charge actually will hit everybody between him and the swirly, so you need to be careful for that. So now that the bird's in the air, what range can actually do, and what I'll do in a second, is you can walk outside of the arena. When you're outside of the arena, you can't get hit by the bird, and the poop actually won't hit you out there either. So pretty soon I'll do that. If you look at the top part of my screen, you'll see everybody's name. That's everybody's interrupts. So I can easily see who has and hasn't interrupted and how long the cooldown is. So that's really useful on a shaman because shamans actually do have an interrupt. So if I needed to interrupt the boss's ability, I can. So if you notice, I am very out of mana, and that's nobody's fault but my own. I am spamming a lot in this dungeon for no good reason. So ways I can counter that is I need to use Healing Wave more and Healing Surge less. Nobody's even taking that much damage. I'm just spamming too much. So that's something I need to work on my shaman. Now, as you noticed, I didn't have to dodge anything this fight. I pretty much just stood on the outside and got in range when I needed to. It really is that easy for ranged. I am showing the failed attempt at this boss first because I have a lot of things to say about it. So we're starting off on Eudora. I'm going to be in the middle back, as you see. So whichever way she jumps, I can quickly get out of the way. So I see where she jumps, and I quickly move in the direction I want to get out of it as fast as I can. Generally, you want to run towards the blast if you're kind of in the middle, so you can take less damage because you're going through it. Now, I have a quite wide shot on the fight right now, and I like to have these as a healer because it lets me see everything that's happening. Alright, so soon, I'm going to test my luck with just standing still through this fire, and as you notice, it destroys me. So I don't do that anymore through this fight. I'm not as tanky as my druid. Now what Cloud is kind of in a precarious situation because he has his back to the corner and Raoul does a knockback. So what happens is Cloud gets knocked back too far and it resets the fight. Now what should have been done in that situation is either Cloud always tanks Raoul in the middle, regardless of where Eudora is, or he should have maybe faced his body towards the center so he doesn't get knocked back towards the edge. Alright, bosses have respawned, and I mark Eudora first, and then Raoul. We want to kill them in that order, but we know that. So I position myself in the same spot, back middle, so I could get out wherever she jumps. She jumps off to the side. Again, I run off to the side where she's shooting so I take less damage overall. I'm still focused. As you can see, I have a quite wide shot on the fight. I want to make sure I can see everyone and everything. Now here, I'm thinking, who's the barrel going to go on to, and where do I need to be for Eudora? So the barrel went on Granny, we got her out really fast. So now I just need to figure out where's Eudora gonna jump. So I actually run back here, which was really nice because she ended up jumping there. And as long as you're ranged, you can stand outside of the fight. You can't do that as melee because it will reset the fight as we saw with Cloud. But like any range could technically stand outside of the fight when it's Raoul's weak. If it's Jolly's weak, don't do that. Jolly has a dash, and if he dashes to you while you're outside, it will reset the fight. So now I'm pretty much going to stay here. Eudora's almost dead, and it's a decently good spot to just hide out. So now, as you see again, I am really and this is because I haven't played Shaman that much. I'm overhealing a lot when I shouldn't be, and it's not anybody else's fault but my own, at least for these fights. So don't take my mana into consideration when watching this. I was doing a really poor job managing it. So the rest of this fight is really simple as range, so I won't go over it. So I'm going to talk about Jolly when he's in the fight. Jolly has a dash, which you need to be very careful you're not out of range or you'll reset the fight. He has the Tornado, which you want to stay out of. And then when Raoul's on your team, he puts down a barrel. The barrel will actually give you a damage buff, so you want to stand in it as much as you can. So here, I'm showing off the Shadow and Light part of LVY. You see above my damage meters, it has all the icons. Very easy for setting up the markers. So for this fight, we all want to stand in melee range in this corner. The reason we do that is so the knockback doesn't affect us. The fire can be ran out to one of the markers and we all go to the other side. And then we can easily see the guy running towards us to CC him or slow him or whatever we need to do. So as we saw, we had the marker, or the fire on that side. They didn't really go to the marker, but it had the same effect. We all moved to the other corner. So I put down a slowing totem on that guy. The barrage is on me, so I run towards purple. And now that I'm done with purple, I turn around and run towards the corner. I got too close to the guy as he exploded and got knocked back. That was my fault. Now, we just rinse and repeat that until the fight's done. Now, what I'm thinking during this fight is, when barrage is on me, what path am I going to take to get out? When I'm on green side, I like to do that, where I kind of go behind the gold and arc all the way around. When I'm on purple, I like to go kind of hugging the trees and then run back around as we saw earlier. So I'm going to do the same thing. I kind of hug the trees up here and then go around as it's ending. And then back to the corner, rinse and repeat. Major things that I'm thinking about during this fight are, what is his health percentage? Every percentage of health gives him different buffs. So at 100%, he doesn't have any buffs. At 66%, he starts hitting everybody with his abilities. So that's when the barrage will affect everybody except the tank. And he will shoot out multiple waves of knockback, and I believe he summons the exploding guy more. And then at 33% health, he will start taking double damage, but he does the abilities more often. So usually 33% is a good time to lust if we needed to lust on him, but we don't because he's a really easy boss. So we just rinse and repeat the rest of this fight. And here it gets a little hairy. I believe Nervy got stuck behind gold, and I couldn't heal him behind it, but luckily he survived. And then Cloud also took a lot of damage, so I prioritized healing him, because if the tank goes down, it could be pretty bad. Now we have the Sharknado himself. So during this fight, I tend to try to hover around the blood piles. If a shark gets thrown on me, I have an easy path to one because I'm usually right next to them. I also get a pretty wide shot of the whole fight, so I can heal whoever the shark is chasing if it's not me, and keep everyone topped up during the tornado. Something to keep in mind is after the tornado, he will jump onto the first shark he throws, or any shark that's up if there's not two sharks. That will knock back anybody next to it, so you want to be very careful after the tornado to stay away from the shark because he'll do a big knockback and does quite a bit of damage. So, as we see here, he does the charge towards the shark that was in the blood pile. This shark glitches out for some reason, so I don't bother moving because I don't need to. I probably should have, but I decided to stay still and heal because he wasn't hurting me. Now, what I'm thinking about during this fight are where's the shark? Who is the shark chasing? Where is the blood? Where do I need to go if the shark is chasing me? And after the spin, where is he going to jump? I know the fight is really easy, the whole dungeon's easy, but I wanted to show everyone my perspective and maybe that will help.